Hey everyone, it's Geronimo Reviews coming at you again with a video review of Perfect Effect 10th Anniversary Honor Warrior, which is a third-party take on Optimus Prime in around the Deluxe to Voyager class scale, and with a very Super Robot-esque redesign of Prime. But to go ahead, I know I talked about last video review, and I probably would do the, Mech Fans Toys Camera Brothers, but in this case, I decided I'd do this lad, because I think he deserves it, and he's really solid and really posable. But to go ahead and get into it, go ahead and take a look at the box. So, here is the box. Hope I don't knock over Honor Warrior back there, but it has a product shot of Honor Warrior on the front, saying 10th anniversary with the big new edition of the sword that's included. PEDX 2 Honor Warrior. And then on the back, you have some, I assume that's either Japanese or Chinese, more product shots of the robot mode with his weapons in different poses, the truck mode, botched contents. Yeah, I tore that little bit right down there. A barcode that's a link to Perfect Effect's Facebook page, another set of just Perfect Effect Honor Warrior, same thing on the other side, and I'll go ahead and get that out of the way. And let's take a look at the figure himself. Getting zoomed back in. So here is PE DX2, which I think that's either 9 or, I think that's 9 or 11. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a little rough with my Roman numerals. But yeah, their Perfect Effect's re-release of their original Honor Warrior mold with a new, with some new plastic, as far as I know, and this big broadsword. Well, Buster Sword would be a better name for it. But, oh, one last thing, and here's the instructions. Really nice little set of instructions. It's just a fold out. It feels good, but it does skip several images. So personally, and fortunately, he is solid enough that you'll be able to figure it out on your own. That's what I did when I first got him out of the box. I just fiddled with him until I got him in truck mode. It's pretty simple. But yeah, accessory-wise, he comes with the broadsword right there. Move it back some. There's the broadsword. A Energon axe, which was original to this figure, but it has been reused on several different versions of this Optimus mold. There's a version that comes with power armor to make him look like Power Master Prime, which is my favorite take on Prime. And just the ion cannon. There's also a Nemesis Prime recolor if you prefer that. Just like there is Perfect Effect Leonidas, who I would like to be able to get my hands on. Either Origins Leonidas or Origins Xerxes. But that's enough rambling. The figure itself has a really nice and bright colored design. It's Prime. It's just a super robotified version of Prime through and through. Here, let me get a little bit better lighting in here. There we go. I opened my window. So, there you go. I will say, I love the addition or the change of design in Prime no longer having his hip skirts, because it really allows for good posability, and he's really, like, borderline kibble-free. This might as well be, like, if you are interested in the Rebel Tech Prime, or you want a kind of super robot anime aesthetic version of Prime that's really posable, but can still maintain a transformation, then this is your perfect this is the perfect figure for you. Whether you just want this one, which he does not come with a trailer, for just a G1 style plain Perfect Effect Prime, or you want the Nemesis Prime version, or the version that comes with the trailer that turns into a power armor to do a redesigned take on Power Master Prime, or God Force Genrai. I think it's God Force. But yeah, here he is himself with his really bright colors. And just to go ahead and point it out, since I know there's some people who are probably not going to like it, he does have just a fake front chest. And that's obvious because they redesigned it heavily to look a little bit more anime. That's the only way I can put it. But he has nice long legs, big calves, and broad shoulders with a nice broad chest. But I really liked the kind of Genrai-esque, but still just slightly different design take on the head. I'll see if I can get it to focus. But he has very good looking little baby blues for his eyes. I'll get another. Just to really push the light. Sorry, my foot was in frame there for a second. Probably both of my legs. But he has really pretty baby blues in there and a really nice silver faceplate. But I really liked all the paint on this suit here. He has a really nice metallic silver on him and these little yellow accents here on his arms and his crotch. And he has some really nice clear plastic here for the back, which is the windows of the truck, and then the little fake windows up here on the front. Really nice. That might either just be either molded or just painted baby blue eyes, like I said before. And I really like this kind of metallic-esque, really pretty sheen. That's not painted, it's just the plastic, and there's no swirls in it. For his legs and his hands. To go ahead and go over, I'm going to go over his posability before I get to anything else. And it will take some getting used to when it comes to the shoulders, but I can assure you he is very posable. You get a ball joint at the head that's borderline unlimited. He can look up that far. He can look down that far. He can look side to side, completely unlimited, full 360. His shoulders can rotate at full 360 on a nice, solid ratchet joint. And I would recommend pull this panel down and grab him by the joint just so you don't have to worry about breaking it. To ratchet this very tight ratchet up on his arm. And you can work it with the swivel to get his arms really far forward. And then you have another swivel here for transformation, but you won't need that at all. Bending it back down, he has a elbow/bicep cut right there where you can see the little gap for the mushroom peg. You can rotate right there. And there's a very soft ratchet, just borderline hinge at the elbow. It allows them to bend that far up. There's also a ratchet at the wrist, up and down. That is for transformation, but essentially allows for a deeper elbow bend. His wrists are just pegged in. There's no ball joint, which is a little scary, but it does feel good. So they can swivel. And you have hinges at the fingers, kind of like Earthrise Prime, which allow them to open and close. You have a waist rotation, which is completely unlimited since he doesn't have anything on his back to limit it. So full 360, like so. His waist can extend, allowing him to crunch this far forward and arc really, really far back. Might be able to get him to crunch even more. And you can use that in tandem with the waist swivel because it's at the top to allow him to lean side to side. His legs can kick this far up, really nice, probably about 45, if not further, and then a little bit less towards the back, so he can do full-on splits in this way. You can also have him do, as Jobby likes to say, a nice beautiful spread. And you have a thigh swivel, nice tight thigh swivel, double jointed knees that can bend about that far. And then a ankle pivot that's kind of both at the foot and at the ankle. There's also 3mm ports down here for some reason. I assume for the whole Genrai version, but it can pivot like that. But yeah, that's his really, really good posability. Oh, and the smokestacks look really nice in silver. Oh, wait. Is that on a joint? I don't think so. No, it's not. But either way, some example poses. I'll go ahead and I'll be quick about it. You can work the arm. Here is the ion cannon. I'll go ahead and take a look at it real quick. Or the ion blaster. Little nice accents of silver and two little 3mm ports on the side and a 3mm handle for Prime to hold it. So you don't have to open his hands to put it in, but you can just close them and slide it right in there. Because it's not going to go all the way in due to his thumb. But you can very much so get Prime to point it forward. You just have to get accustomed to the joint design. The way that the shoulders work on a warrior. But you can just get a relatively basic static shooting pose. So if you want that. And you can even work with this little swivel here to accent it even more. From there, sorry, that little panel on the back of his leg is untabbing, so you'll see what that is for during the transformation. Extend his waist. And then the Energon Axe has a 3mm port, and I assume what is some kanji on the side with a nice painted orange blade. It is made of gray plastic. It feels really nice, and it just slides into his hand. It's not removing his hand, so that's really nice. And it can cover it up. You can use it on either hand, whether you want to cover the inside part or the outside part of Prime's hand. And that's how it looks. Work his double-jointed knees. But you can get Prime in some very decently dynamic poses. Where he's... Sorry, I knocked my camera there. My phone. But there. And I really like this pose. It's not crazy. It's not crazy. But it is functional. Outside of that, just with the Energon Axe, which I also think looks really decent. You can also rotate that up and have it where Prime is about to bring his arm to the side and slash, kind of like he did in the film. Angle his hand a bit. It's not perfect, you can't completely see his face, but he can kind of block with it. And you can bend it a little less and just work with the wrist to make it look like he has it bent even more. So there's a nice little pose. Same feeding position, just changing his arm a bit. But the weapon that I really, really like, his massive clear Buster Sword. And it looks really, really cool. It's a nice big solid Buster Sword made of clear plastic. As you can see, it feels really nice, but it is pokey. I will say that. It's not sharp to where if you, like, drop it that it's going to bend the tip. It's not like, it's not so sharp to the point that it's like Planet X's new take on their IDW Grimlock. But yeah, I will say though, you can put it simply in Prime's hand. And this is the main reason that he can open his hands is for this version of the sword. It has tabs on the side, but those aren't needed because you need his hands to be able to open so it can go to the very top of the handle. So if he wants to hold it a little bit higher, he's very much so capable of doing so. It's just whether or not his wrist can support that weight, because it is very, very heavy. But to go for some example poses from the box, and one of the ones I like to do with the sword, I'll just leave it in his right hand since it's in here. But just very simply, you can hear that soft ratchet some. Alright. Ratchet that. Yeah, it's much tighter, that ratchet joint right there, on my Honor Warrior's right arm than it is his left. But you can get him to sling it over his shoulder like that. It's not exactly the pose on the box. The pose on the box is more just kind of a dynamic hip thrusting pose with Prime slinging the sword over his shoulder. And you can always, unfortunately, due to this little brick at the back, it actually allows you to support it on his shoulder and make it look a little bit more natural. I can't really get him to stand right there because it is very back heavy. But yeah, and there's no way to mount it, unfortunately. And there's several other poses. I just don't have the time because I'm already 14 minutes into this video. But to go ahead, start transformation, fold down each of these arm panels, rotate the arms up like so, leave the head like that. You're going to rotate both of the biceps, and from here you can go ahead and fold up the smokestacks so you have space to move the arms, rotate them up like this on these little mushroom pegs, and then you can ratchet them up. They are much easier going up than anything else. Fold in both of the hands, make sure you leave them in the default position like that. Fold them both in on their ratchet joints, and then fold both of the elbows in, and they're going to like lightly caress the back of his head. Make sure the ratchet joint is truly all the way up. And from there, you can go ahead and just fold out the smokestacks to kind of get them out of the way. From here, straighten out his legs and push his waist up, and you can untab the whole backpack and pull this little tab out on the bottom, and it will free the waist. This way you can grab the front of the truck, and this will all fold out. This is what was Prime's tiny little backpack, and this will all fold out and around, and there's little tiny tabs, just borderline little notches that go right there, and then you can double hinge this down, and you're just going to hinge it down and get it in the arms. One second. I'm just making sure I have this all the way. Make sure his hand is all good. Really should have just paused this and done a jump cut, because it's pretty simple doing this transformation. I'm already 16 minutes in, and it's going to take forever to upload this. Alright, from here, you can then just make sure you keep the face out of the way and keep all the other little arms and pieces out of the way. But you're going to just try to ensure you get the space so you can rotate his entire chest panel around, and there you can kind of see that this is mainly clear plastic. Rotate that around. Rotate both the smokestacks up, and those little silver tabs are going to go into the chest panel. Please just work with me. Thank you. Alright, from there you can tab that all in. These little leg panels down here, just the back of his legs, go ahead and untab both of those. Extend and untab the legs, and then fold out these little silver blocks on the side. You can then go and collapse the entirety and just ensure that all gets tabbed in. And tab that silver part into the side. Do the same thing on the other side. You can go ahead and connect them, but you don't necessarily have to, because you can still work with it. Up, fold that in. Make sure those are both tabbed in. Make sure the side pieces stay tabbed in. Fold up these back pieces. Fold that up. Fold his feet all the way down. Make sure these little panels are flush. And make sure that tab is also in. And there you have Perfect Effect Honor Warrior's little truck mode. And it is a beautiful little truck mode. Oh, also, the one thing I forgot to show. The handle of the massive sword can, for some reason, fold up. It was mainly that way for the sake of packaging. And the whole blade can crack in half. It's a little notch. Just pull it. There's a little tab there, and it folds down and turns into an energon axe, or just a storage form. But it is an axe. It's a massive axe. There's the truck mode. There's no way to store any of the weapons on the truck mode. Not even the little trailer hitch works. I mean, you can, but it sits in there loosely. But I don't care about that. The truck is gorgeous, and I really, really like it. I love the colors, the way the silver tanks come out of nowhere, the fact that the figure's so posable. And trust me, you will have to fiddle with some pieces here and there just to make sure they get there and they stay there. But once you do, you will have a beautifully solid little truck mode with all pinned wheels. And all the pins are painted black, so he can roll really, really well. And it's just, he looks really nice. And the fact that the whole truck cab essentially comes out of nowhere, both via his arms and his back, where it was completely hidden away. And it's not at the cost of the appearance of the robot or vehicle mode. So, yeah. In conclusion, do you need this figure in your collection? I'd say yeah. It's a really, really good third-party figure. Perfect Effect is, in my opinion, consistently very good. And considering this is a re-release of one of their older figures, and they've probably fixed a few small issues it had, it's a really, really, really good figure. And I have a lot of fun with it. I'm sorry this video is getting way too long. It's already 20 minutes now. But yeah, I really, really like the figure. The transformation is fun. The robot mode looks great. The posability is amazing. The accessories are good. It's really hard to go into it in a short amount of time, and this is still not a short amount of time. So I'm sorry that you're about to watch a 20-minute video that's not worth 20 minutes. So yeah, this was Run Amok Reviews, and I'm going to go.